Hey everybody, Jeff Joyner here. And today I'm going to tell you the story about the time that I almost fell to my death at the Grand Canyon. And before I get into the story, if you enjoy these videos and like hearing these stories and lessons, please subscribe to this channel. Click on the notifications bell so that you can be notified whenever I put out new videos. I greatly appreciate it. So the story goes back a few years. I was speaking at a conference in Phoenix, Arizona, and invited my dad and my brother Phil if they wanted to fly out, meet me in Phoenix, and spend a few days having fun. We used to all love jet skiing together back in the day, and we said, hey, you know what? There's some really cool places to go jet skiing out in Phoenix area and in Arizona. And so they flew out there, and we did a bunch of hiking. We actually, my dad and I had a hiking adventure. I'll probably tell you in a different story about how we barely survived that adventure. Yeah, did some cool hiking. We spent a day jet skiing on a beautiful lake. Oh my gosh, it was so fun. Me and my dad, my brother out there riding Sea-Doo jet skis full speed. And but then we decided to go see the Grand Canyon. I've never seen the Grand Canyon. I've heard it's pretty awesome. But I was one of these people that was like, yeah, you know, it's a crack in the ground. How impressive could it really be? And so we drove up from Phoenix. We went through Sedona, which is a beautiful area. I think we went through Flagstaff. And you get to the Grand Canyon, and if you've never gone, I highly recommend it. If you've ever heard the phrase, oh, the pictures don't do it justice, this is the place that typifies that phrase more than any place I've ever been, that the pictures don't do it justice. When you first walk up, it is stunning. It like takes your breath away. It's unbelievable to see it. It really is cool. And tons of buses were there with tourists from people all over the world. We met and got talking to some people that were there from China. And it was interesting that, you know, when people from, China and Japan and Europe, when they come to America, some of them want to go to Disney World and or go to New York City or Chicago, but a lot of them want to see the Grand Canyon, right? They just don't have anything like that in their countries at all. And so lots of people, and you go along, they have like a little bus that'll take you down to different scenic stops and overlooks. And we took a bunch of pictures of, me and my dad kind of walked out at one point out on one of the ledges and got some cool pictures of just the two of us. And me and my brother, we really were having a great time. And but then we got to this one spot where there looked like a really cool place where the rock jutted way, way out. And I'm like, boy, man, if you could climb out there, what a view that would be. Well, of course, they had railings and signs that said, do not go past the railings. If you know a little bit about me, you know I'm not real big on following the rules always. And so I climbed over the railing and out onto this, I don't know what you would call it, but this rock formation that jutted way out into the canyon. And I'm walking out there. My dad's like, I ain't going out. My brother's like, man, I ain't going out there. You crazy. And so they kept walking. They went around to the side. And I said, well, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to get some pictures, get some footage. And my dad said, well, I'm going to walk around. There was another little scenic over here. I'm going to go around and get some footage and pictures of you out there on that ledge. I said, perfect. So they walk around. I go out there and I get, I walk pretty far out. And then I look, and to really go to the peak, to the tip of this area, there's a gap in the rocks, and it's about 6 feet across, but it's a couple feet down, maybe 3 or 4 feet down. So I'm like, you know what? I can jump across there. The area that I was jumping to, it's probably as big as this room. There was plenty of room. It did not seem really all that treacherous. And so I threw a running start and I jump across onto this little butte that really is sticking up. And I got right out to the very tip, and talk about a stunning view. Probably the best view you could get. Probably not the safest place to be, but the view was stunning. So I'm out there, beautiful view. I'm taking pictures. I can see my dad, my brother over there, and I'm waving. And I'm just like, wow, this is, just so, you ever have those moments where you're like, just soak in the memory, man. I don't want to forget what this looks like. I got the pictures, but just cool spot that I find myself in. And then I decide, all right, it's time to go back. So I turn around, then I realize, that the gap that I jumped across and down, now going back, it's too far for me to run and jump. I have to jump across and up. and it's too far. I'm like, I don't think I can jump it. I think if I try to jump it, I might fall. And I'm way, way up there. The Grand Canyon is very, very deep. This spot that I was at, from there to the bottom was 7,000 feet. It's more than a mile of a drop if you slip and fall. So I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I started thinking, what if I'm trapped out here? What if a helicopter has to come get me? That's embarrassing. And so I'm like, I think I can like fall ahead and like catch that rock and then reach my leg over. I think I can kind of scamper across. But it was perilous. I will admit, it was a perilous situation. And so my dad was snapping some pictures. And here's a picture my dad took when I was trying to get across this gap. So now I'm literally, I got my hands on the one side, my legs on the other side. I don't really know what to do. I can't at this point jump. My dad was telling me that there was one of the buses that was full of tourists from China had stopped over by where he was at. Everybody was out shooting pictures and video of me. They were taking bets on whether or not I was going to fall to my death. There's probably people all over China that have pictures of the stupid American, right? Verifying all of their stereotypes about Americans, that we just do dumb things. And but I lean across. My brother Phil, I found out later, he like turned his back. He's like, if Jeff falls to his death, I do not want to see it. I'm not watching this. And so he turned his back. My dad's taking pictures, and just as I'm starting to, my sunglasses that were on my head start to fall off. So I'm grabbing those, and I'm, like save the Ray-Ban sunglasses, but lose your life. So I'm trying to hold my sunglasses. Finally, I reach one of my legs across. I think I get a good grip. I was barely able to get across. I felt at one point the rocks, kind of loose stone coming loose. I get across. Obviously, I was fine because here I am today to tell you the story. But it was a little more dangerous than it needed to be. It probably wasn't my wisest decision. It's up there with dumb decisions. I've made a lot of those. And so, but here's the lesson. If there's a moral to the story, one of the moral of the stories is, hey man, you know what? Sometimes you got to get out to the edge, right? If you're not if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. You might have heard that before. And so I do like living on the edge a little bit. But that was probably too far on the edge. And the lesson I learned is, some people just spend their whole life planning. They plan and they plan and they plan and they never take the leap. They never go. Right? The term I've heard for it is the paralysis of analysis. They're just getting ready to get, and I'm not like that at all. I'm on the other end of the spectrum, that I'm like, let's go, without thinking through, and then what? Right? If you've ever served in the military, whenever there's any military plan has a plan for ingress and egress. How are we going to get out? Right? How are we going to get out of here? And so the lesson I learned from my near-death experience at the Grand Canyon is, hey, I'm all for going for it, but let's have a plan for safety. How are we going to get out of this situation that I've gotten myself into? And so I try to be a little bit better about that. I still feel like you just got to go if you want to see the most exciting things in the world. But I've tried to get better, and I recommend you get better too on thinking through a plan, right? That is not just how you're going to get started, but how you're going to end. This sounds like a weird comparison, but I do a lot of public speaking training, and I talk to people about, hey, when you're going to be most nervous is starting a presentation or speech, and that's where a lot of people get in trouble. But the other place is like, how do you end it? And I don't know if you've ever heard somebody who just kept talking and they just didn't know how to stop. And so when I do training for people that are nervous about public speaking, I'm like, make sure you have a plan on how you're going to start, and make sure you know how you're going to end. Because when you know how to start and you know how to end, the finished product is going to be great.